Okay, here's step one on our Juchitan tour. We're actually literally standing right where the city hall was. This whole wing of the city hall came down in the earthquake. And if you see right behind us, this is the market. The market was severely damaged. Both buildings they thought would have to be demolished, and now it looks like in both cases they're going to renovate them instead of tearing them down. Let's just take a quick walk over here so you can see how the city hall, what the facade looks like, and how this part is no longer there.
Hi, so we're back and we're standing in the grounds of the Casa de la Cultura, which was started in 1972 by, among others, Francisco Toledo, one of Oaxaca's and probably Mexico's most famous artists and activists. Behind us is the church
of San Vicente Ferrer.
San Vicente Ferrer. We're just going to talk for a minute or so about the importance of Juchitan in terms of the political culture of Oaxaca and Mexico. So what can you tell us about that, Kurt?
Yeah, so Juchitan is a very important city in Oaxaca, this whole region, for a number of reasons. From a political point of view, this is the first municipality in the history of Mexico to elect a socialist government,
right,
with the COSEI back in the early 80s. And that sparked a sort of Zapotec renaissance,
right,
with the COSEI government, Francisco Toledo here, and the Casa de la Cultura, as you mentioned, and a lot of other goings-on at that time. Elena Poniatowska has written a lot about her time here with the COSEI. Zapotec in this area is one of the languages that has the greatest literary production in terms of songs, in terms of poetry. It was a very important area for the PRD after it was founded in 1988, so it's got a long history of opposition politics,
right,
and has actually formed a lot of Oaxaca's most noted political leaders come from here, from Juchitan in the Zapotec region, the kind of famed gift of oratory of this region.
Right.
Okay, we're here in what's known as the Séptima Sección, or the 7th section of Juchitan. From what we've learned, about 85% of the buildings in this city were affected in one way or another by the earthquake, and this area, the Séptima Sección, was one of the worst affected. So we're going to go right down this street over here, and we're going to show you just exactly how bad the devastation was. As we're going along, it's basically, we're kind of have to zigzag around sand or gravel mounds. Basically, every single lot is a construction zone of some sort.
Side streets here, there's pretty much the same story,
yeah,
on every block.
Remember that mortgages and bank loans are very, very hard to get in Mexico, and interest rates are much, much higher. So if your house comes down, you basically build it little by little as you can go,
right,
with the money you have or can acquire. And what people have also been telling us is that really the ground hasn't stopped shaking. It's not just a question of there having been one earthquake on September 7th.
Right.
There have been a series of very strong aftershocks, and it's just been kind of like constant quaking the whole time.
Yes.
So what the administrator of the hotel was saying yesterday is that the first earthquake, you didn't expect that people could handle that. But the aftershocks afterwards is what really knocks people out of whack psychologically.
That's right.
These are supposedly two-way roads, but we're literally having to stop to let traffic go by because basically one section of each of these roads is entirely consumed by gravel, by sands, by tabique, construction materials of some kind. And that's this way all the way down the street on both sides.
Do we know how much each family or each household gets from the government?
¿Cuánto recibieron las familias damnificadas? ¿Fueron 10,000 o qué pesos o qué fue?
Si se cayó tu casa completamente, recibieron 120,000 pesos.
Okay.
Si sufriste fracturas, así, o sea, que haya sido menor, fueron 15,000 pesos.
15,000 pesos.
Entre 15, 30 y 120,000 pesos.
So if the house was affected but didn't collapse, it was 15 or 30,000 pesos.
Right.
If the house came down completely, it was 120,000.
Right.
Which is even that, the 120,000 figure, which would be about 120,000 and about 7,000 US, is not enough to rebuild a house.
No.
What you're saying is what we talked about in a previous video, is that a lot of these cards were cloned.
Right,
So
yes.
people would go and try to withdraw their money out, and the money had already been withdrawn somewhere else.